Hello, everybody. Welcome to podcast debate night. I don't know what this is. We've got a show for you.
We got a show. Honestly, we're super excited. We got our lovely John Moens here. John's on, and we also have another special guest that I know you guys are just going to be so excited to have on during our topics tonight, and he'll be on shortly.
Yeah, he's got to put his kid to bed, and I'm sure we're all equally surprised he has one. So, yeah. So welcome aboard. We're calling it a debate night, but our crew is pretty much decimated this evening. I've got me, myself. We have Tim. We have John Moens. We have our special guest coming on in a little bit. Special-ish guest. He's special for sure.
Oh, he is.
he is special. Yeah. How are you guys doing?
Doing pretty good. I mean, the Oilers won last night.
Oilers did win last night.
How was Mike Smith on that goal, though?
Do you know, Sutter has great press conferences, and he said Markkanen's goal against the first one with no Hopkins, and then Smith is kind of just even itself out, right? At least at the end of the day, we didn't lose, because that would have been a train wreck.
That would have been a dagger.
That would have been a dagger.
It's been a great series, though. It's been hard fought. It's been end to end. It's been violent. It's been fun to watch. That's for sure. I don't think Calgary was truly anticipating what Edmonton was going to bring to them, and I don't think any of the experts did too. I remember reading this article on Sportsnet saying, with all these experts doing their predictions of what that series was going to look like, and 21 of the 24 said Calgary, and I think most of them said in 6 or 5. And that's obviously not going to happen now. If Calgary's going to win, it's going to be in Game 7. So they faced Dallas. Dallas had an unreal goaltender that really stymied Calgary. But we don't have the same caliber goaltender in Edmonton, but we have like 7 times the scoring power that Dallas did. So it's just a completely different series than Calgary had last one. And it's been quite the battle.
Yeah. You're a Habs fan, so what's your take on it?
Ooh. Well, there's no more than the bottom of the barrel than it gets than us right now. I think, Shane Wright's the number 1 pick to take. I don't even think Montreal will take him. That's how brutal they are.
Hey, so since you're a Habs fan, how do you feel about Kadri with the Binnington thing, and then you mix in with his hat trick the game after? How do you feel about that?
I think it's amazing. Like, I didn't think his hit was that bad. I thought the other guy kind of brought him into him in the first place, and then he kind of gets the bad rap because what he's done in the past years.
Yeah,
he's kind of one of those agitators type players.
If you watch that overhead view of it happening, he wasn't skating anywhere near the goaltender until he got hit.
Yeah, he got hit, and it looked like the guy kind of locked his skate on the back of his other skate there and kind of just took him in.
It's pretty innocent.
And then they were just after him the entire next game. Like, going after him no matter what. And
that Lucic was way worse.
The Lucic one?
Yeah.
No. Hey,
just trying to stir the pot over here.
How do you feel when you're St. Louis and Binnington's like that? Right? I mean, Binnington is he like modern day Hextall with his attitude, or just because he's pissy with the world, he's angry, and then the press conference where apparently he threw the bottle at him. Like,
that was hilarious.
It's like Bottlegate, right? Like,
I love it.
Yeah.
But then did you see Kadri the next day? He walked in with the exact same brand of bottle when he walked into the next game.
I think he did. I think he was trolling him.
Yeah, he had the exact same water bottle. I thought it was hilarious.
You know what? I just can't believe it's like today's news. It's absolutely crazy.
It's the game within the game, right? It's fun. Just try to gain whatever edge you can, and if that means pissing somebody off with a water bottle, you do it. Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. If that gets under your skin, you got more problems than a water
Absolutely.
bottle.
Absolutely.
Talking about skin, I can't believe the Panthers went to the strip club before Game 4. Absolutely crazy.
Yeah, I heard that. Several.
Look, they're down 3-0. They needed something to loosen them up, right?
Yeah.
It's like, they went in real relaxed the next game. It didn't work out for them, but they tried something.
Best effort. Best effort.
Well, we're waiting for our other guest here. We might as well just get on some of the topics here. One is tour finals. We haven't had John on in the past. John actually came out and runner up at the Regina Classic, a huge run, and almost beat Lenny. What is it? How do you feel about making the finals? Is it a little bit like surreal, a little bit?
I think it's fantastic. Like, there's not going to be too many opportunities. Like, only 12 people make it, right? Every year, 12. And how many entries there? I don't know how many unique entries we had this year, but 1,041, I think, was the tally at the end.
Yeah.
So, I mean, out of 1,041 entries, say you play every tournament twice, even, so that's 8. There's not that many people who have an opportunity for it. And I think it will be kind of like a resume builder in the end. How many tour finals have you made in your day? Because I think it's going to be one of the criteria moving forward.
So cool. I mean, even when you're sitting there talking about, people playing on TSNs and stuff, that's a huge feather in their hat, right? And
Absolutely.
it's a hard road to get to the tour finals. It is not an easy road at all. You have to put up a bunch of money and you have to have faith in yourself, and you have to trust it, and then you have to go and compete against 160, 170, 180 people at each of these events that feel equally as confident as you do in yourself, and then outperform them to make that cut. And it's quite a feat. How did you feel in Red Deer? How did you bowl first?
I was throwing a fantastic ball. I just wasn't scoring well. Like,
yep.
I got on a roll on the one side, and I just, you got to make a micro adjustment, and then say you throw a 190, and all of a sudden you got to throw a good high 3 to dig yourself out of that hole again. So it took me, I don't know, one and a half games to usually adjust from side to side, and then by that time it was too much.
Yeah, it's tough. It wasn't. It's frustrating at times because Red Deer could eat you up, but you feel like you're throwing a good shot,
mm-hmm.
and you throw it in the pocket. And sometimes you get in chops, and sometimes you get in corners, and it feels good, but it feels so hard to score. And then you look around and you could see other people just lighting it up, and you're like, okay, so scores are there, pinfall is there, it's good pinfall, it's there. Why doesn't this work?
You're watching the guys on the Sunday final, and they got no problems throwing high to mid threes. Why couldn't I do that?
Exactly.
Right? Throwing you looks like you're throwing the same shot as some of those guys, but just not scoring the same.
So then you unfortunately missed the cut.
Yeah.
You're there on Sunday, and you're watching all these finals going on, and you know where you're sitting for the tour finals.
Oh, I was.
Were you? Yeah. Were you sitting on the edge of your seat the whole time?
I was sitting on the edge of my seat and not knowing if some of the guys were bought their memberships.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I didn't know some of that, so I was thinking maybe if Derek bought his, it doesn't look like he did because he's not up there. Yeah. So I mean, if him and Schneider both buy theirs, the two winners of two of the tournaments, I'm not in.
And Sly.
Right?
And Sly.
And Sly as well, right?
Yeah.
So that's 3 guys that could have all bumped me out if they had their tour card.
So, and then you had a couple of people that they're so good you just don't anticipate struggles, right?
Absolutely.
Adam missed the cut. Mitch missed the cut. It's his first cut he's ever missed.
He's a shoe-in for every tournament.
He works so hard, and he's so knowledgeable in his game, and he's so good at it, and he's able to make those adjustments that he's just a guy that you just never expect to miss a cut because he just doesn't. He hasn't missed one until now, right? So you have him miss the cut, and then you have Greg DeGrazia, make the cut but not go very deep on Sunday. Those are 2 people that.
Well, and McCall had a huge start. He had a 4 after 4. He was over 1,200, wasn't he? 1,000 triple to start, right? And he doesn't make the cut.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, first qualifying shift, he had 1,200 for the first 4.
Yeah. So I
and
mean,
struggled to get to 22.
so that's another one, right? And then yeah, you're looking at it. I mean, obviously Justin Langlock was close. I think he lost, barely missed it. Dwayne made the cut, didn't make it. Right? You know, there's other people there, and um, I've been there. It's not it's not a great feeling. And to consider that I'm only 2.5 points ahead of you, I'm 2 spots. It was super close.
Yeah, I think I should get some bonus points just for showing up to some of these tournaments. You figure I could bump my way up ahead of you.
Well, that was a major topic of discussion, to be honest with you. So
I'm out of province for 2 of them, so I mean that should be at least 1.5 each.
it was a major discussion that they wanted to. Discussing about the point system, and if you made cuts, you get extra bonus points. Right,
but you automatically do. Like if you made the cut, you're automatically higher in the standings, so you're getting more points than people that don't make the cut. Like you're just automatically making more points when you make the cut already.
Right.
You don't need a more bonus points.
Or they're talking about maybe if you make all 4 cuts, you get a bonus. Right. I mean,
sure.
I Jeff, of course.
Well, you could do like a 20-point bonus or something like that, right?
The 20-point bonus is pretty big, right? Even if it's a 10-point bonus, but well, you can see the huge difference on that, right? I don't know.
Well, you got to have a pretty incredible season to make all 4 cuts, right?
Super.
So who made all 4 cuts?
Looks like Lenny.
Lenny made all 4.
Did Len actually make TPC?
No, it's a 3. He did not make.
So he
TPC.
didn't make the cut. I made all.
Yeah, it looks like you 4. Did, Dex.
I made all.
Tim made all.
Greg
did. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's crazy. He makes all cuts. He just didn't go far enough down the road, right?
Looks like Justin made them all too. Langrock.
Yeah. Well, no, he got some points in consolation, right? You get a little bit of points.
You get points for consolation.
Yeah, a little bit.
Top 50 get points.
I think Dwayne made it.
I should have won at least.
If you count the 40, if you count the
matches, then
the 40 cut, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was actually a couple of bonus points would have been huge for you.
Yeah, I would have been ahead of you.
Well, it would have been
anyone's goal is in bowling. Just be better than Tim.
Do you know what? It would have been a win-win. I play Adam Weber and you play Dexter, so those matchups could have been changed a little bit, I would think.
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't that a joy? I get to play Dexter and
so how do you guys feel about that? I know there's
hold on. We're gonna take this off the screen for 1 second. We're gonna bring in our extra very, very, very special guest. Hello.
extra special.
Yeah, absolutely. How you doing, man?
Not too bad. How's it going on, fellas?
Good.
Not much.
But yeah, so I mean, the hardest part with the cash tournaments and all these things, and then running into tour finals, and you spend so much time with these people for at least 4 weekends. 4 weekends you're spending, 4 days together, drinking, partying, having a good time, socializing, and you become friends really quickly, and then and a lot of us have been friends for a long time now, right? So then you make the tour finals, and you're having the top 12 making it. Well, almost all of us are friends with each other, right? So you're going to end up facing people that you just don't really want to face, but you have to. So
some people throw 10 in a row at you, and you're like, I fucking hate you, but you're all right, I guess.
Taylor's been on for 1 minute, drops the first F-bomb. Welcome aboard, buddy.
15 minutes, and you haven't had one yet? Wow, slow night, gentlemen. Slow night.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, you don't really want to face your friends, but it's just super glad that we could all make it and be there together, and that part is cool. But I don't want to face you right away, John.
No,
not at all.
It's gonna hurt when you get beat in your own alley there. It's gonna be terrible.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Tyler's the guy that seems to steamroll me there for whatever reason in tour finals. I think I've lost to him 3 times. Fun fact: I have not lost a tour finals match by frames. So we'll see if that changes this year. Just by score, yeah.
And I think this is Dexter's first time not actually getting a first round bye.
Yeah, you're right. This is the first time that I don't.
Oh, I know it's tough, eh?
Is it top 2 or top 4 that get the first round?
Top four.
Top 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, his old
Um,
man body's not going to hold up on that one.
If I would have made it to the 4s, then I would have got that vibe, but I didn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm disappointed you're not going to be there, Taylor.
I am as well. It was Johnny's fault and just Johnny's fault. I'm thinking in Red Deer. At Red
What
Deer
lane was
was
that?
there.
Was that lane 7 and 8? It was lane 7 and 8's two pins.
I don't know. It was a right 2-pin,
Oh.
right beside the pillars. Whatever lane that is.
That was the left 2-pin. You
That was
just
9 and
roasted.
10. 9
Yeah,
and 10.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was not a fun time.
Oh,
Well,
was
your
it the
2-pin
aces?
blew over. Your 3-pin, I think, blew over the other lane.
Yeah,
Was dangling-
it was
dangling-
the right 2 came up, the head pin shot up, the 3-pin apparently went over, and the head pin came back down almost in the left gutter, like completely other side of the lane. I was like, well,
I think
Just-
I was watching that match. I was sitting down and having a few beers,
that was,
Um,
that was
a few
rough
buds,
one.
watching the game. You know,
There's always a few moments of those tournaments where everybody goes, "Whoa!"
Yeah,
Well, the whole crowd did it.
Yeah.
it was like,
But-
oh, and I
But
felt it just like,
in all fairness, I don't know. I don't know if it was for Taylor's bad beat or everybody was pro John because it was in Regina. Because
Oh,
that's a Regina thing, right? Everybody's like hoot and hollering for Regina or Winnipeg, and they don't give a two shits about anybody else.
oh, I'm on Lenny Anset's page there. I'd rather have every single person cheering against me than for me, just so
Yeah.
I can turn around and watch the life go out in their eyes after I'm done. That's what I enjoy. And like even when I hear other people cheering for others or the person I'm bowling against, there's a part of my brain that goes, "They really mean it's for you," and I can just steal that and feed off of it. I don't know. I feel like that's a latent skill that I just have. I don't think you can learn that. You just got to know how to do it.
I don't think that's a skill. I think that's a mental disorder.
Tomato, Dex. Tomato on that one.
But yeah, super excited for tour finals. It's going to be really good. Like I said, don't really want to face you right away, John, but it's all right, especially since you're staying at my place.
Whoa, that's going to be. He bought me dinner after he had his way with me, so like he bought his way back into the good graces.
Well, he's gonna have pink eye the day before. I don't know how he's gonna get it.
Oh, crusted up.
Yeah, John, I don't know if Dexter told you there's only one bed in the place, so I don't know what that means, but
Well, it looks like we're all sharing a big little cuddle puddle going on.
Yeah.
with O'Callahan too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Rhino C.
Oh,
Crazy things happen on those weekends, man. Isn't it?
Wow.
um,
OC's my other half, so like he'll do me proud. So Dex, in a way, I kind of will be there.
Yeah. We're just hoping it's just a little bit more tame than last time.
yeah, it's
You got to one up it every
for
time.
those people who are interested in coming out. It's $10 a ticket for the finals, and it's free to enter Dexter's bachelor pad to see what shenanigans happen. Okay, so
Yeah.
No, it's not free. You got to sign a waiver to get in.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you need an NDA to get in there.
And probably a background check, honestly.
we guess we can sort of talk about the Gallagher Cup a little bit. I mean,
Yeah.
we can probably talk about some of the teams. So on the Friday night, it's just a fun team get together, obviously in honor of our beloved Robert Gallagher. It's called the Gallagher Cup.
Who, by the way, I have a semi-legal bet going with with the Oilers Flames series. So really looking forward to seeing how that one pans out there, Mr. Robert Gallagher. Anyways, continue.
So we have two teams with two captains in the past. We're fortunate to have two sponsors once again. One is Team JBrains.ca, which is JB Rainsberger's company. So thanks again, JB. And the other one's Team Innovator, and Team Innovator is Aaron Arndt's company that he works for. So we're gracious to let they hop back on. So how it works is that it's kind of a Ryder Cup style nights where people come out and have a few drinks while these two teams are kind of battling it out. Well, obviously, it will be live streamed. I think the last time it was. But that being said,
the main event is filmed and releases
Filmed.
episodes. The Gallagher Cup will just be live streamed on the Friday night of it, so everyone can tune in live and watch it then.
right. So last time, I don't think it was even close. Jay Brains just took the title. I think it was a moot point at the point. at the end. Sorry. It was fat guys versus skinny guys.
Yeah.
Tight white shirts versus people that shirts fit properly. So it might be a little bit different coming up. But so if you were on a certain team from the previous time we held it and you qualified it, you guys we go automatically go back to those teams.
Yeah, you get seated back into your teams.
It's based off the top 24.
Yeah.
Off the points tour list. So Desher has it brought up here.
Did anyone do the Tommy Boy, the fat guy in the little coat?
Fat guy in a little
I
coat.
had no extra room even to do that. It's bad when Vic looked at my shirt and he's like, "Wow, that's tight." I was like, "It was tight."
So for Team J Brains, we have 5 people returning, and Team Innovator, there's 4 people returning. So myself, Adam, Tim, Mark Miller, Mark Johnstone, we're all returning on J Brains, and then at Innovator, we have Tyler Ticat, Kerry Kreitz, Bradley Ticat, and Aaron Arndt. Now, these teams have 2 captains for each team, and then they will draft the remaining players. So Innovator will actually get to draft twice to start because they did lose last time. So they get to pick one person to fill to make it even 5-5, and then they get to pick again. And then it'll go back and forth from there. The 2 captains from each team will then converse with the other captains, and they will choose who gets to play in what match. So there's going to be some singles matches. I think there's going to be some doubles matches. There might be some Scotch doubles. There's going to be all sorts of different things going on, and they'll pick and choose who gets to play in each event, and kind of go from there. And each match is going to be worth 1 point, and we'll determine a winner. Yeah.
So in the draft pool, we have Len Anseth, Derek Gall, Jordan Schutz, Ryan O.C., John Mowens, Rob Wolfson, Ian Howe, Justin Langrock, Ron Perry, Anthony Strait, and our very own Daryl Bradley. So I don't know, like if you were a captain, maybe it's a good one for Taylor because unfortunately he's not able to make it. If you're a team innovator, what 2 players would you pick right off the start?
That's a tough one. I know I'd probably do.
You'd probably pick
Anseth and OC just for the mind sexuals. because Len's up there, he just doesn't give a shit, and he's off. And if he's bowling 70 people or 1 person, he just puts the train on the tracks and off he goes. And O'Callahan's just a madman, so like you don't know what you're getting with him. He's just gonna rip a couple Bud Lights and just have a good time. So like,
yeah. You can't go wrong with Lenny. Obviously, number 1 ranked. He's player of the year, right? So it just makes total sense that somebody would pick Lenny first.
You got to think he's going first. I would imagine.
Yeah, you have to think about that. How do you guys like looking at I mean, obviously Jordan's a great pickup. Gall won TPC. Johnny runner up down in Regina down there. Wolfson's been pretty steady. He's high average in Calgary. Ian's a young player going nationals. Justin's played well in Heritage. Like they're all good players, right?
Well,
it's interesting.
That's the best part of this cup is you can't really go wrong with any of the picks. You're getting solid across the board. The only thing that you may think of as a captain would be the singles and like the other extra events. If you have an idea of, I want to put these 2 guys in this event or, something like that. Otherwise you're getting good bowlers regardless of who you pick.
Totally.
For sure. Like, it's nice to highlight some players that maybe don't get a lot of acknowledgement out there. I mean, a lot of people out here in Edmonton know Ron Perry, but not everybody else outside. Right. So, it's nice to highlight those other players that are able to make it. So.
I think again, I'm gonna say this again. I think I said it on the last podcast too, but like certain people super proud of like the seasons they've had. Ryan O'Callahan has like really put the work in, got his mind in the right set, into the right place, and found the right quantity of beers needed to perform well. and he's really rode that train all year, and he's played, like I said, he said, you know what, I love the tour, I love coming out to the events, but if I don't start making cuts, if I don't make a cut this year, I cannot justify to keep making these trips to come out. And here he is making 3 cuts and tour finals, and makes a big run at the end of Red Deer in front of his dad, and just like highlights of his life. Like, super cool. Love hearing that. Like, huge accomplishments. Super proud of Daryl. Like that guy's like worked really hard. He's tried to get better, worked hard. He used to be absolutely phenomenal. And it's only really, again, the last couple of years, or last 3, 4, 5 years, that he's really tried to be competitive with it. And he's come out and he's made a couple of cuts and played well in them. And I think he found some things inside himself that he forgot that he had. So super proud of those two for sure for making the Gallagher Cup. I know he is ecstatic for making the Gallagher Cup. He was one of the coaches, so he had to relinquish his position on that in order to take the spot. But you got to play, right?
How yeah. I mean, not confidence goes a long ways, right? If you make one thing, it goes a lot easier after that. And yeah, if for all those people out there says, I don't know, am I too old? Am I too old to play? I mean, Ryan and Daryl are prime examples. They're pushing 50 and they're making cuts and making Gallagher Cups. Okay, so I mean, it's still up there for you guys.
Totally.
Yeah, it's too bad this one didn't run last year, the Gallagher Cup, because I was most looking for. Like, I like crushing you guys into the ground and just winning, just in general. That's always fun. But to be able to do something like this.
Is that how it worked? Because that is not how I remember it.
In my brain, that's how it always works. It's how you stay unlimitedly optimistic. You just always win. Doesn't matter how I won. It's fine. But the Gallagher Cup's something where you can bowl with those people. And like, that's why like the Bakers and stuff in the cash tournaments are fun to do, because you can, or the triples, because you can bowl with people. Like, other than those things or this, I will never bowl with any of you guys. It's exactly. Unless some of us make some geographical movements, like I'm never going to be wholeheartedly cheering for you ever, unless it's in something like this. Of course, when we're playing, I want you to do well, just 1 pin less than me, but which I think is universal for anybody on this list. Maybe not as crass as that, but that's how everybody thinks. In terms of this Gallagher Cup, you have the opportunity to bowl with those top tier people from all across Canada that you don't get the option to normally.
100%.
Yeah.
Just to pull it up. Look, you know what? Do you know what irks me the most about this game? That 2 pin and 10. The rest of the game, I'm like, yeah, that's all right. Yeah, that 2 pin and 10 was 5 frames that I blew because of that spare.
You're absolutely right. I went up there and like threw the chop, and then I didn't even attempt at that shot. I just kind of hucked it, and then afterwards, I was like, oh, that's dumb.
That's 5 frames, and I'm up there. I'm like, spare this chop and rub it in his stupid 10 strike in a row throwing face. And I let it go. I'm like, you idiot. As soon as it was out of my hand, I'm like, unless that goes 7 miles an hour slower than normal, it's not backing up into the 3. And then there goes the 2. Yeah. I mentally snapped some crayons in my brain there. I was like, after just getting thrashed for 10 frames, like, here you go. You got a little saving grace at the end of the tunnel. Not dutied on that too. What a good time. I'm so glad I crushed you. Fuck, what a time.
That's number two. Yeah. So speaking of that, we've been talking about the tour and how hard it is to make cuts and how incredibly supportive everybody is. One of the big hot topics out there right now is consolation. Yep. Right? And every time, it doesn't matter what event it is, we talk about consolation, seems like. What are your thoughts on consolation? I'll share my thoughts after maybe you guys share. Should we have it? Should we not? What kind of formats do you like? What's your idea on that?
I really like the match play they have in Red Deer.
Yeah,
I love match play, and the single game match play. I don't know if it gets better than that. I think it's phenomenal. But I could also see the person who gets 32nd year after year would kind of want to make that cut when they earn that position themselves in the first place there, and then have consolation as a totally separate event to kind of regain some funds. So
we're at a point where we're having like record numbers, obviously. Like every tournament smashed records this year, right? For themselves and for the tour as a whole. All of them except for Calgary have a constellation that seeds into the final spot of the main event. Do you think that if we remove those, do we lose entries? Do we gain entries? What do you think happens? So, because you're gonna, to me, you might lose
I agree.
bunch of fringe people that are, hoping to have a great day and maybe make the cut, but are realistically looking to maybe be in that position to fight their way into it through the back way, sort of thing. I think we might lose some of those people, which might be okay, because if you don't have that, you might have a whole bunch more people re-entering too. So you might balance that out because you don't have that second chance. So you're gonna put another entry in because you might work your way in.
Yeah.
But
I think most of us at this point aren't banking on that run through consies.
No,
Everyone's
I
bowling
agree.
those shifts to make it 31 spot.
I totally agree with you. So as a tour, do we want to lose those fringe people that might be in the position to make cuts on a regular basis soon, but are looking for a little bit more experience? So they're coming out and they might back end their way into the tournament. So that's kind of where they're looking at. Or I don't know.
So we're kind of like, every year we debate this with TPC, right? Every year. And I sent an email to our committee, which ends up mostly we double dip, and most of it's a tour committee too, right? So, but my thought is, at some point we got to have consolation, and it's not, we got to have consolation, and I mean that by whether if you take the top 32 as it is and run an event for consolation, or whether you include 32 spot and you fight for it. Okay. Reason being is there's a lot of people out there that try out your locals and other people that are just hoping to make something, right? And I know this is not a participation event. It is a professional event. But that being said, if you look at it, most of the time, the cuts top 20% of the people out there, how many times are these people going to be coming out and participating? And if they haven't done anything for so long, right? And it looks like I always felt it looks like the hierarchies or the good players out there, and they're not doing it. But I mean, the Webbers and you have the Tickets, you have Dexter, of all these people making these cuts. They're taking that experience and taking that money, right? And I'm not saying that's a wrong thing. They're doing what they're supposed to be doing, making cuts. But I think we got to have something there for the other bowlers there. Now, I'll be honest with you. Like I said in my email to our committee, I don't like the TPC constellation. Never did, never have. The same as Regina's, and it's only because of time commitment, right? Red Deer is very fortunate to have 20 lanes. The rest of us all have 16 or 18. We don't have that extra lanes to spread our bowlers out in order to have a chance to do the match play, which is, I think, by far the best one. I know in the past we've done, I would do constellation, and then we did the top half, made it on. So it's top 32, top 16 games. The first game made it through, and then we bowled one more, top 8 made it through. We did
just cutting the field in half.
Cutting the field in half, and I enjoyed that one too. But same amount of games as a match play format, right? So I guess the thing is I'm looking at is, do we keep the spot as a 32-second spot, or do we create another event where there's some cash? Now, I threw this idea out here, and by no means I'm not speaking on behalf of Sherwood Bowl or speaking on behalf of the tour final, the TPC committee. But I said, if we run a consolation, back in the day, KG ran it, right? And they went to Fairhaven. Now, maybe I talk to Bonnie Doon and see if they are able to do the consolation. They can do something on the Sunday where there's a little bit more cash in there. We would have to pay lineage and do all that stuff with them. But maybe that's an option where there is a little bit of a cash thing there, where they can make more money than what we can give for the regular one. That would be another option, right? But you only take top 32 on for Sunday, right? So there's other options out there. I just don't know what the right one is. Or right, there's so many, and everybody has an opinion, and I respect everybody's opinion, but it's tough. And then do you run the consolation? the 32 on Saturday night. I really liked when we ran it Sunday morning at Regina. I thought that was a great idea, right? So I don't know what the right answer is.
Yeah. So my opinion for this has a little bit of what Dexter touched on with those fringe players. Is you guys are fortunate that you're relatively central to most of them, but you've got people coming from all over the place.
Yeah.
And those fringe players, when they come in, sure, they see it's top 31, but then that 32 to 64, then there's that play wiggle room where they're like, if I can at least make that, like have that extra try and have that spot win into the actual finals. So that takes your 32nd spot. That gives a lot of, not even fringe players. I'm sure there's a bunch of players that you guys recognize that don't make cuts. They're there every year, tournament after tournament. And
they're quality players
that are probably in that consolation pool. That you take that consolation pool out, now you probably lose a handful of those people alone because they're like, well, I haven't made a cut in blah amount of years, and now I can't even have a shot at running it. So that's my opinion for keeping it as the 32nd spot to give that person a chance at the title. But the formatting system, I love the match play. I get the way the match play works. You know, you got to beat the person you're against. I don't like the individual single game match play because, you know, Dexter has one good game of the day, throws a 10-bagger at you, you lose. However, you have, if you were to do something like a 3-game match, take the top 4, match play out the top 4. Yeah, there it is. There's this one good game again. He's got it queued right up. So if you have some kind of, you know, lump, like 2-3 games, you take those games, then you do a match play on the top 4, as opposed to doing 3-game top guy out. Because again, Regina was absolutely ridiculous. Did we have three 1000s or just 2? Was it 3?
2.
It was 2 in like a 980 or something. Yeah. So like so you go out there, you bowl unreal, and you still miss, right? So like if you were to do a 3-game like that, then take the top 4. So those top 4 guys, and then just have some kind of round robin match play for that. Just you got to give the guy who drops 1,000 for 3 something. You got to give him a sniff at it. You can't just
even
give
if
him
it's
his
a step ladder. He shoots 1,000 for 3. He's the first qualifier. Give him a step ladder. Have him
give him a shot. Yeah.
Have him like double knockout on him or something.
Yeah.
I don't mind that. And like as much, Tim, I agree with you. It's not a participation tournament in any sort of way.
No.
But if you look at the demographics that we have at these tournaments now, I mean, I'm 34.
You guys are doing a good job at building that with the podcast, the streams. You're getting a lot of external people that probably did not give a single shit about bowling coming out and bowling in these, and that big span gives those people their glimmer of hope that otherwise they don't have.
And like Tim, we're 34, and we're on the edge of being on the older side of the people that are there now.
Don't want to think about it.
There's a big range of people at these events, but the demographics recently, there's a lot of younger people coming out to these events and putting up good money to it. And as much as it's not a participation tournament, it is the tours where a lot of development happens. Indirectly mostly, but it's those experiences and even that head-to-head match play, or 3 games, let's go, like I have to beat these 25 people, and if I do it, I'm gonna make this cut. Like those little experiences do help for development, and I think it's really helped a lot of the younger people. The TitCats have been absolutely amazing for as long as I know, but man, putting them into the tour at the age that they were in has only exponentially made their development faster.
So, okay, I'm not picking on this person by any means, but consolation people obviously they want to be part of, and that's where I'm kind of saying I wasn't trying to do anything, but you look at Ryan Edwards has made the cut, but do you see him playing consolation in Red Deer? He was beyond jack to play at.
He would cut your legs off, throw you in the attic, and burn your house down. The amount of respect I gained for him watching him bowl those games was astronomical. And nothing to say bad about him. I've only talked to him maybe 4 times. But watching somebody have that much, I'm going to come out there and kill you because I want this fucking spot. Well, that to me was that's what consolation is right there.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, and those are the people I love, just the high energy stuff. If you have already, you qualified already, and you're just sitting back and you're watching the last shift on Saturday, and you kind of look in the last couple games at who's gonna be all jacked up, and the emotion and passion is just unreal. I love it.
See, and that's how Gingers differ. He likes the high energy passion, and I like to watch the soul die. So he watches certain people, and then I watch the other ones, and we get the same enjoyment. It's just different strokes for different.
Somebody's and somebody's going out.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what? I had an opportunity. I won 2 consolations, and I've made it. I guess I happen to play a lot of other consolations over the time. I am pro consolation just for obviously giving other options out there for other people. My Red Deer win, I do laugh because if you look at it, I think YouTube took it down because CBC had nudity on there. It was played Justin Langrock, so they had to take the video down. So I can never go back and watch my consolation anymore. So
leave it to Tim to get his video taken down for nudity.
It wasn't even his own.
I can't believe that.
Yeah, it wasn't my own. Well, that's a good. So,
but yeah, sorry. for me, I'm pro consolation. I just think it's.
I vote yes.
Good for development of everything.
Yeah.
You did touch on Saskatoon KG doing this, and I want to touch on this comment here. Tracy is talking about extending the cut from 32 to 48 and removing the constellation. We had lots of talks about that stuff too.
Time, right? Time is what the big constraint is for that.
A couple of things in my head. I mean, we've had some discussions, not lengthy discussions, but some discussions. But yes, time is definitely one consideration for it. 2 is qualifying money, right? I mean, all of a sudden you do that, you add another 16 people in there. That's another $8,000 roughly in qualifying money that disappears too. And third, if it's not broke, don't fix it. I don't know. We're hitting record numbers in these events. You go to 48. You start losing a lot of the re-entries.
We saw that in Winnipeg, right?
Yeah, so you start losing a whole bunch of the re-entries, and now you're also paying out the top 48. So now qualifying money gets diminished, and everything else gets diminished with it. I do know that KG did do this at one point when they were starting to get just over 200 entries or something like that. And I wasn't around for it, but I think the tournament took a turn after that, if I'm right, Tim.
Yeah, I think there was a multitude of everything going on with that. I don't know if it was necessarily that, but I think entries did drop because of the 48.
Yeah.
Just strictly because you don't have to rebuy.
Right? Yeah, statistically, that's going to happen regardless because the cut's going to expand that much more than another 16. I think there's a certain level of sponsorship and base money that needs to come in order for something like that to happen. Like you said, for qualifying money, you need to recoup that money somewhere because you can't take it out of the payout at the end. So you got to. I would say in long term, it's probably doable if expansion keeps happening the way it's going currently. Like I know we're probably on the upswing of expansion. It's going to plateau out in the next couple of years. Yeah. But if we get another boom or something like that, or we catch some interest from some national whatever, titles like TSNs, like, oh, look at these idiots over here. They got some shit going on, and people are going to want to watch this. They throw a couple bucks here and there, and a couple bucks to them is, the world of difference to somebody running a program like this. So then you can start doing some crazy shit because, you got some money in the bank.
Now that being said, Neb's club tour this year is doing a 48.
It's going to be absolutely ridiculous.
But they're looking at potentially 400 entries.
Well, if he gets another 50, he's just going to build 10 more lanes and expand the bowling alley again.
Yeah, exactly.
Realistically, like I said, when you got crazy ass money, you just do whatever the fuck you want. Let's go.
But Jesus. I don't know. I don't know. You get 400 entries. There's so many people that just want to get on the list right now, and then people will start making the cut or having scores, and it'll depend on it.
But still,
But-
I mean,
But it's going to be astronomically huge, right?
Yeah.
Nebs will be having plenty of conversations, but I don't think they're having a consolation.
Why gonna be like that, Dex?
It's about that time, eh, Letty?
Why gonna be like that?
Yeah. So I definitely think Nebs is going to be well worth going to, right?
Yeah.
So
If Nebs wasn't running, I probably would have been there for Gallagher Cup. It's because it being as
No.
close together as they are, and the fact that I got a Seaman Demon now, my time is very, very expensive for me to spend on personal things. So like I gotta, pick
Yeah,
your
no,
battles and go where you can. Because it was
Get that off the screen. What is wrong with you? Jesus.
Oh,
gotta be Lenny. He's not even here and he's back. See, I'll count that as 2 for Len because it came up twice.
I don't know why Tim was clicking that to begin with.
Oh, it wasn't me. If anybody's listening to the audio version, I have no min
It
right.
was just
Yeah,
you.
it was Carrie. I'm pretty sure I saw Carrie in there somewhere clicking stuff.
So anyways, we're speaking about other tournaments. If we want to move on, we had a couple events this past weekend that we might want to touch base on. Maybe we'll touch. Well, not touch. Maybe I'll get Taylor to touch base on the Claude Stanfield match play. So in Dryden, I saw some Winnipeg players, some of the top end
Yeah,
Ontario players go out there Northern.
I'll touch it so hard. So that runs in Dryden. That's full handicap. By that I mean 85% of the difference at 250, which I believe is standard handicap. There's usually 10 or 15 Thunder Bay guys that go out. Like a lot of our open bowlers, male and female, go there, and we literally just drink beer from Friday to Monday, whenever we drive back. But over the last handful of years, it's gotten a little more traction. This year, we had a couple of the Winnipeg guys come down. Wes Swallock, I believe, played Andrew LaMonica, who was from Winnipeg in the final. So and Matt, not Rudolph, Rodich. Yeah, I saw his name and it was in handwriting. My brain said Rudolph, and now I can't shake it. But yeah, so I saw him bowling actually on the live stream, and I'm like, I think he was in Red Deer, and then I saw him throw a double, and he came back and did his patented the exact same thing he does after. I'm like, yeah, there he is. But yeah, so it's gaining some traction, but it's a grind. They do 2 qualifying shifts on the Saturday. They do 3 game matches all the way through, and it's A side, standard, 1/3, 1 depending on how many they get, first, last, and they rotate A. B's a random draw, and it's I think Wes said he finished his final match at 1:40 a.m. So it's
that late.
It's some of the handicap bowlers tend to use 3 balls for every frame.
Okay, but like so for our
They
TPC,
started in the morning, yeah.
And they run consies on one side. So here again with the constellation stuff. So they run consies on the one side. I think they do 4 lanes for consies. So they run 3 people per lane for the first match. So that just bogs it right down. Once they run through that first match and consies done, they spread them out. Then they do 2 a lane, and then it clips on a pretty good pace. But that first A side round takes some time.
How many lanes do they have?
14,
12.
I believe.
12 or 14, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, that makes sense.
It's a smaller house, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So-
not having
No, that's not the latest it's ever been, Scotty. We've had some 2 a.m.ers in there.
How does like, I think it's a great format. Handicap is good for obviously all skills, but I saw Matthew Rodich, or Rudolph as you call him.
Yep.
He shoots 440 at 11 bagger punch or 11 bagger miss, right?
11 bagger, just a word I normally say, hair to the right. Like when he let it go, I'm like, he's got it. And he leaned so far that he kind of tripped on the ball return and sat on it because he also thought he had it.
Yeah. And so he, with his handicap, he shoots 454.
Yeah.
Right. Obviously that person's dead in the water. Right. So
yeah. Sometimes we've had people with 50, 60 handicap come rip a 4 or 5 bagger at you off the hop. And you're like, oh, well, I'm down 500 pins in 5. So like it's a risky gamble over there. I don't want to say the term sandbagger, but there's I'm gonna say there's been at least one or two. But then eventually, the handicap mellows out, and then you see why it is that handicap. Like, oh, they're okay, I get it now. But sometimes I've had a guy that had 40, 50 handicap. I had him beat scratch the first 2 games. The third game, I just had to beat him scratch, and he threw a 320 at me. And I'm like, well, just yes. And I believe he turned to me and said, genuinely, a very nice man, Ted Lake. He probably is not watching this. He's not big on computers. Turns to me, shakes my hand, says, "You know what? Great match. Have a safe drive home." And I was just like, oh, and now,
soul die.
I don't have one, so it just rattled around the empty carcass of my body, and I was just like, oh my god. And I loved it. I loved it so damn much. I wasn't mad at all. I was like, that is the greatest thing to ever say to anyone ever. And then he went and like had 2 more pitchers of beer and like bowled a $1.12 the next game. So it's like, it's just, that's how she goes sometimes, right?
That was fantastic.
Yeah.
I love the idea of this tournament though. Like again, like we talk about development and like, you know what, here you are, you're going to have a whole and handicap system generally does benefit the higher average bowlers. It's just math, right? I mean,
if your higher average bowlers are exceeding, so we've ran a couple that it's handicap based on highest average. So to me, that's the most fair. So like if you have somebody coming in with a 260, 270 average and you're basing it off of 250, that 20 pins, that's a pretty big spread. But even still, like you have myself, Wes, Greg's come out to this a few times. We're out there and we're battling. Like we're not just going out there and walking over people. Like we're having to finish strikeout in 10s and play matches. So like and I believe quite a few of the Sunset, which is the Dryden zone, were on the POA teams this year. Yeah. Guys that I haven't normally seen, and they're coming out. And I don't know that it's because of this tournament, but this tournament has probably been like, hey, I like this competitive stuff. I'm going to go do some of the other tournaments.
And then they get to intermix with all the higher average bowlers and do all that kind of fun stuff, and then get to see where they're at and maybe pick up some pointers along the way and see what works for them too. And I don't know. I think all of that stuff is really good. And again, like this is a great tournament for people to understand the match play format and the bracket system and go from there and develop a little bit themselves. Sorry, Tim, go ahead.
That's okay. I actually did meet Ted. He went to IP Nationals in Kelowna.
Yep.
Yeah, he was a good dude to have out there for sure.
Too bad
I didn't know that what he told you beforehand. That would have been definitely a good conversation starter.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. So Scotty Minor, the wood. So after that we were calling him the woodshed because he would just drag victims back there and just buzz on. Because he got on a tear, man, and everybody that he bowled was just bloody and limp at the end because he was just devastating people, and it was awesome. And I was in the back smashing beers, just cheering the shit out of him as much as I possibly could.
So Taylor, when does this event normally run? Because it's not normally during this time, right?
Mother's Day weekend, so it runs the same time as Red Deer usually runs. So that's why I miss Red Deer a lot of the times because I'm going to this tournament.
That makes sense.
It's also a 3-hour drive. We all carpool down. So the weekend costs $200 plus beer. So like $800 and you're back home, right? So, and I find it's a good like team building exercise, like for the community is like, we're relatively close to Sunset. Mm-hmm. Like our other zones are like 12, 16 hours away. So we see these guys a lot more.
Yeah.
It's a good time for sure.
It's a good time. So if you guys are out in Dryden, Mother's Day, long weekend, you always want to hop on board on this one. So this past other weekend, the same weekend, there was another tournament down in Gatineau and Grébert at the Quebec Classic.
I don't know much about how do they run this one?
I think it was pretty similar to a tour format.
Okay.
Like a Regina or like a TPC. And I believe they had 60 some entries and it was $120. I think that's just one shift, I think. Or is that
no, this is combined.
Okay, so at 47. I think a lot to do with it was unfortunately, I don't know why, power outage has become a staple now at bowling events. And unfortunately they had a power outage on their final qualifying shift, right? But I have to give Matt Leonard, his volunteers, and the bowling center for doing a great job. It was well received and well run.
I think the communication was fantastic. I mean, ultimately, like that's the biggest thing with these events is you gotta set your format. You gotta be able to communicate with the people and move forward. And when things went sideways with them, they did such a great job of communicating. That's such an important thing. It was really well received. It was unfortunate. I mean, it was their third shift. They did one game, and then the storm hit Ottawa and Gatineau, and then knocked out the power for them. And they were hoping to get it back, and they kept communicating and putting up videos, being like, "Hey, we're hoping at 7, we're hoping at 8, 9 is last call." It didn't happen. Ended up during the last shift, Sunday morning before the finals. So I think they probably lost a few entries there for sure. But kudos to Matt and those guys for thinking on their feet and pushing forward. And there's only so many things you can control, and that's every tournament committee's worst nightmare is that right there. And to have it on their first year, I felt horrible for them, but they did a great job.
Yeah, Regina's was unfortunate, but lucky that it happened right between the two blocks.
Yeah, you couldn't have asked for better timing.
Yeah.
And I mean, they were back to back. I mean, that shift was like, okay, one shift ended, boom. Next shift is starting like 15 minutes from now, and it happened in between. They're like the odds of that's crazy, but yeah.
I mean, 47 entries. I was hoping they get more. I think as a mixture of everything with Heritage being in there and Open Nationals and it just everything going on all at once there, but have to give him the credit with it. Obviously, congrats to Maxime Lafreniere for the win. He beat Chantel Cyr as the runner-up. I watched a little bit of the scores. Some really huge scores back to back.
Like this match over here, this one, Julie.
Jesus!
Wow.
Alex threw a 400 at Alex threw a 400 at Julian, and Julian still edged him out.
That's almost like the Grazia and Mike Warren-esque.
Like there were some huge
that's
matches.
Have a safe drive home right there.
Chantel and Sly. Chantel 927 to 897. Like just huge matches.
Even the final was a good one too.
Absolutely. That's exactly what. And like finals can go one of two ways. They're either going to be absolutely lights out, or they're going to be an absolute dogfight because everyone's just
gassed out. No one's got nothing left.
Been there.
Yeah, exactly.
I think I fell asleep during yours, John.
I think I fell asleep during mine.
I was too many beers in. I can't even remember yours.
Sorry.
It's not your fault. It's that shit house. I apologize. It wasn't a shit house. It was a great tournament.
But yeah, it was. It looked like it was a great event. It was really well ran. Tim. I'm sure they were probably hoping for a few more entries too. But I think that's a great start. And it's more of a bit of a local tournament. But I think it will build to be a lot bigger. You're going to start getting a lot more people from Ontario and the surrounding areas coming out to that event. Especially how well it was ran this year too. So, and it's just absolutely great for that community. Gatineau is awesome. And there's so many, it's so close knit. I mean, when it's the only place in Quebec that has 5-pin, you're competing against each other all the time. You're competing on teams all the time. And I just, it was super fun to watch. And I'm really proud of what they put together there. And the way they handled it all. Yeah. 64 entries. Yeah. Thank you, Matt. That's perfect.
Yeah. With COVID,
I was just going by what was on here, and
COVID condensing a lot of these tournaments to the end of the year. Cause you have to get all the provincials and everything in, and then nationals obviously run at the end of the year. Definitely makes it difficult for people to travel. Cause for myself, if I was to do Dryden, that was 6 weekends in a row that I was going to be doing something. And I'm like, this is getting a little outlandish here. Like I got to be an adult at some time. So you got to cut your losses here and there. But with this tournament for us, at least like Northern Ontario, Southern Ontario, this is something that's relatively close. That's probably going to be on the radar for a lot of our guys running into next year.
Yeah, 100%. Super cool thing.
Super cool.
Super
Jesus.
cool. Yeah.
Uh,
That's an event I'd love to get to. I would absolutely love going to this one. I love Gatineau. I don't know why. I absolutely love that city. It's just fun being there. So, one year I will get out to this.
yeah, it's right across from Ottawa, right? So it's easy enough for us to fly to and get to, right? So,
Yeah.
but you heard it first. Dexter's willing to come out there. So
Yep, chalk them up. Save
hold
the
him
spot.
to it. Hold him to it. Yeah, so I mean that's something we can talk about. We have, if you saw Quebec Classic there, they have the traditional format with A side and B side. There's different formats on tour. Which one is your guys' favorite?
So before we move on from that, since Matt is doing this, I just want to double check. For your A side positioning, it was reseeded every time, right? So the brackets,
Right.
Let me bring this back up. The brackets shifted as you went along with it, if I remember seeing this right.
So you don't run from top.
So top qualifier would always play lowest qualifier every round.
Yeah, okay. I believe that's right. And Matt's in the chat there, so I wanted to, but it looks like so. Fred knocked out Chris, and then Fred faced Luke.
Oh yeah.
So
placement
in that is catastrophically more important comparatively to a regular A bracket.
Yeah, totally. I don't mind that at all. I don't mind that at all because if you're on the fringe and making that cut,
and you have your two middle of the packs were the ones that made it to the finals.
Yeah. I like that.
I've never seen that.
It's a great way to reward qualifying first overall, for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, like Tim was talking about new formats, the format that I've talked about on here a few times, and we are still talking about maybe potentially doing for the B side for our TPC is the grudge mat format. So, if you're first, you get to choose your opponent on the B side.
Oh, that's risky business.
And then if you and then if they didn't choose second, then second gets to choose another person. They keep going down the list until everybody's selected. I just think that it would be super fun. I think it would bring a lot of extra drama. I think it makes those matches harder.
There's going to be matches salty people. But halfway through that block, there's like
how it definitely rewards first. But I think it makes those matches way tighter because all of a sudden you have one person calling out another person, and all of a sudden that person is right fired up and is like, you know what? All right, you're gonna pick me. Let's go. And then I think those matches get way tighter.
How cool would it be if Taylor went up to Greg DeGrazia and he was the first seed and said, "I'm picking you, Greg." And
Greg would fucking stab me. With that, he would win that match because I would be bleeding out on the floor. Just good night, I win.
But just his look.
Oh, so many dead puppies. Just I don't know. I think that'd be pure rage. Pure rage. If that, you know what? Line it up, Dex. I'll qualify one. See you next year. We'll just get the camera. We'll see what happens.
But you would do it every round, right? And I think that'd be just fantastic.
No, just.
But right.
Yeah, I agree, Dex. I think those matches would be the buttholes would be a little tighter all around. For one, the person who picked, and for two, the person who got picked. Because I picked this guy, I better go beat him now or girl. And the other person just going, screw you, buddy. You want some of this, and then just giving them some of that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You could create some rivalries somehow too.
Oh, for sure.
Across the whole tour, that'd be amazing.
And that's what we need. That's what we need on television, right? We need just a little spice thrown into it. So.
Yeah, we have way too much. We got way too much nice. We need a lot more spice for sure. Everybody gets on camera. They're like, I love everybody. We're just going to have fun and have a good time and do our best. It's like, okay, I get, you got to be nice. But then you got to call somebody else and be like, screw you, Triple H, and come shit in your face. Like, you need to get some of that because that's what gets people in, right? That's TV, man. Your shit got pulled for nudity, so obviously we can't go that route because we all know sex sells. It's also bowling. How sexy is it? So we got to get some rivalry and some salty in there. Yeah. We'll bring the people in.
Tyson said he's going to pick me if he gets the chance. Tyson throws 4 good qualifying games and nothing else after, so I'm not really too worried in the distant future.
Tim will be picking you, Tyson.
No, I'm good. I already beat him enough. I don't want to worry about.
No, beat him into the ground, turn him into dust. Come on, Tim. No remorse.
I think it'd be good. I'm always I view like things about like Mojo and Karma and Juju and picking somebody that I think I can beat is. Be out of my element. Yeah.
I'm not picking somebody I can beat with bowling. I'm picking somebody I can mentally just destroy before we even have to bowl. That's how you win bowling. It's not with the ball. It's with your brain. Every time. Especially in that style of format. That is 100%, I'm going to say it, a mind fuck. 100%.
Oh, totally. All of a sudden, yeah.
Exactly. But I think
mind games might be back in there.
The key is, though, you have to, however you have that draw system, however you're doing it, it's got to be fast. People have got to be there, got to be ready to go, and it's just got to be bang, 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 bang the drum.
It's only 16 selections. It can't be super slow.
Well, that's what I mean. It's got to be fast, and you can't have that be drag ass.
And there's only 16 selections the first round, right? So I mean, you know what? They're in the warm up. In the warm up, you have a tournament committee, like warm up for the A side, right?
Yeah.
During the warm up for that, while they're getting ready, that's when you have somebody from the committee wandering around, just be like, okay, who are you picking? And it shouldn't take long at all.
And you know what I think you do? You have the bottom half, right? So those are the people who aren't going to get to pick, and you have a picture of their face.
They might.
That's, I guess, depending on how it passes.
It depends. One can still pick 2.
Okay, so that doesn't work as nice, but you have their face, and then you have your name with like pin the tail on the donkey, and you like put a tack in their head or something, and that's how you pick your match. Just something real aggressive, just be like, you're mine, and then off you go and you bowl that person.
It'll be on the prices, right? They have that punch a bunch game where you just punch your face through it, and you just punch your fist right through their face, and that's who you're taking.
Yeah. Oh, that would be fun to be a part of. I would like to do that. The bowling part. Oh, I like to punch the face hole. That'd be fun as well. But like the bowling part to do that format.
Yeah. So those listening out there, let us know if you think that that's a good idea. We obviously don't want to like hurt anybody's friendships, but
they're gonna be. They're gonna be.
It could be fun.
If that hurt your friendship, they weren't really your friend.
That's
Taylor's 2 cents on that topic.
Perfect. Yeah, but it'd be nice because we do run the same format as Regina. So it'd be nice to have something a little bit different. But I just think it'd be
something to mix it up. I agree.
Yeah, and you kind of need something new every year. So you get a little stale after a couple of years, and you try to be different any way you can.
It's definitely nice that the main events do rotate kind of back and forth with the different qualifying and the different match play styles. Like I think probably to the previous first question was which format is your favorite? I think the Red Deer style where you have your pods in the top 4 out, because it eliminates you hit a guy bowling hot and you're out, right? So you don't just get a guy who rips 1,000 at you and you're like, well, I threw a 990. Well, have a safe drive home because you still lose. So at least you can look around and say, okay, I'm getting just thrashed by this guy, but you still could technically make up a couple sticks on the rest of the field. So I like that idea that it's not as much of a game of luck as it is a game of skill and overall tenacity for the whole day. Yeah. You don't just get burned right away and you're like, oh well, guess I'm going to go put all my money in the bar now.
Yeah, I do like it. I like it too because, like you said, yeah, it is a game of skill. You have to be good the entire time, and then you still have to throw some clutch shots. You may be clutch shots to win your match and get that bonus. And that's the difference between Autumn Open and Autumn Open to an extent, but and the match play tournaments is that match play tournaments is all about throwing clutch shots, and the other, like Autumn Open for the first 2 rounds, is all about just consistently throwing well, and it's just a nice mix of both. Just mashing keys over there.
Sorry, mechanical keyboard.
So I guess we can move on to another topic. Let's not maybe we haven't actually talked about it because I mean it's close to our hearts, but the Pro League Finals.
Fucking Tyler. I think that's it. That's it right there, right?
Yeah.
I was watching it and I'm like, oh, I wonder. And I wasn't paying. It had no volume. Just watching the matches, watching the frames, going like, oh yeah, we got some good matches, good matches. And then a part of my brain was like, wonder when they're gonna put Tyler in. And then I turned the volume on, listened, and I'm like, oh, there is no Tyler. And then I was going, oh. So here I was thinking they've got it in the bag. They got the cannon in the back just waiting to roll them in and crush everyone, but the cannon wasn't there. So then I was thinking, oh, now we're getting real tight. I think it was the second, third game when my gerbil finally ran fast enough to put the dots together. And then, yeah, it was very entertaining for me. It was a roller coaster of emotion for me because I didn't know what was going on until going into like the 7th frame of the last game. I'm like, well, he's not going in. So
Yeah.
he's not there.
It took you 27 frames to figure that out.
Yeah.
It got really tight down the line. I mean, it was nice that like the final 2 weeks of Pro League. So the Russet Pedal Division finals and then the actual whole league finals came down to the second ball in for both of them.
Yep.
It was awesome. Like that's really what you're looking for in this game is just that. If you're gonna view something, that's what you want to view. A make or break ball down the line, and yeah, it was crazy. We were hoping that it wouldn't have been that hard, but I'm also glad that it was because that's what the game is supposed to be.
Yeah.
Right? That's what it's supposed to be. And those guys on next are fantastic. And then they're also playing at Bonnie Doon, and like we had to have our A game for sure. And yeah.
Well, it's the only way to experience any time of that type of intensity is to actually be in that moment. You can't practice that with anyone. Like you can have your competitive practices, but it's never the same intensity level as throwing that big shot you need.
I never thought the intensity would be there playing that event, being remote.
I agree with the separate sides. I had the same sort of thought as, it's you want to beat the other guys, but my whole thing is I like to see the other person feed off, their body language, the team's body language, how hard they did or didn't kick the ball return, things like that, how exasperated that Cy was. I'm like, yeah, okay, we're getting under the skin. But online, you're like, how do you really get it? But with that match being frame for frame, ball for ball, running down 10 with, a handful of points either side, like you got to, I could feel the clenching buttholes through the screen. I didn't have to be there. I knew it was happening. And to me, that's TV. That's what the people want.
Yeah, it was. So it proved me wrong the whole event. I'll be honest with you because I was a little nervous going into the last half. Right?
Yeah,
everything was super, there. And I was like, "You shouldn't get nervous over this." I mean, it's just over live stream, and it was totally blew my mind on that aspect on our end, right? And super crazy.
Whether we have a ton of people in the building or not, having people in the building certainly helps. But with or without that, you also know that you have viewers everywhere around the country, whether they're going to watch now or they're going to watch in a little bit. They're critiquing everything that you're doing and what is happening in this match, and that does bring some intensity to it as well. But it was awesome. It was super fun to be a part of, and really glad it came down to that. And we had Katie, who was supposed to be on tonight, as well. But Katie, she's good friends with the coworkers, and her one friend Evan, who is like a very competitive curler. And, like he won a whole bunch of tournaments for curling and stuff too. High end athlete in pretty much everything he does. Doesn't know shit about bowling. Was watching it, and we're in a group chat with them for our ball league, and he was just like going off in this group chat saying like, "Holy cow! Like my tits are sweating because I'm so nervous." and then he said he was like super proud of us all for like handling that pressure situation so well, but like for somebody who doesn't understand bowling and to be able to watch it and understand it and feel that intensity, that's really what we've been missing in the game. So I'm really glad that it panned out the way it did, because that's how we get to promote our sport down the road, right?
Yeah. Curling,
outside-
however, I would argue is the closest sport to bowling that you could possibly get outside of bowling itself. It's roundish down the sheets.
Curling,
100%.
team event, curling strategy, right? Curling's there. I think obviously golf is just for the individual part, obviously not just the aspect of it, not the whole entire game, right?
Yeah.
Lenny, so I know this chat actually was about the Dream Crushers, and you brought up about yourself. So no big deal, Lenny. But actually, you're wrong. Kerry Schneider did play, and his team lost when he was a sub. So I do want to bring that up, and I know that a couple of those teams are picking up a couple of the winners. So I don't want your heart to be broken there, bud. But maybe
I think all Len is saying is those people that are getting picked up are guaranteed to not win next year. I believe is where he's going.
Yes,
You're bowling pro league. Get ready to get shit on in cash tournaments because Len said that's out there. That's in the ether. That's in that's in Tim's bad juju. You're gonna have to scrub that one out, buddy.
Isn't Len going to be on a team next year? So that
He doesn't want to be now.
He doesn't want to be. Lenny would have his own team probably all by himself. He'd play all five games.
He could play in the entire match faster than any 5 people could play.
Probably
he'd be done in five of your frames.
Bingo.
Yeah, we'd be giving him like speeding violations. We come back from commercial, he'd already be in the 9th frame. Like, come on, Len, you got to stop at least with the commercial.
Yeah, no, but you're right, Lenny. The final was absolutely the best we could have ever asked for. So it was good. It was good all around.
And for the record, Lenny, seven people that made tour finals played pro league.
So we're consistent. We just don't win.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right.
Which is personally worse. I'd rather be just up and down. I win, I'm trash. I win, I'm trash.
You would make more money. You'd make more money. Yeah,
I would. Son of a bitch.
Yeah, but you didn't win. Thanks, Lenny. Yeah. You know, funny thing is, Lenny walked out TPC Invitational once, and his song was "Hard to Be Humble." How that isn't fitting right now, it's beyond me. But anyways, that being said, obviously, everybody's favorite, the Dream Crushers, won. I mean,
everybody's favorite. I didn't know Len Anseth was in here. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. No, I think everybody's cheering for Next Gen, and it's probably because it is what it is. And
look, let's be honest, we're the Yankees.
We're the Yankees, and Yankees got stronger.
Just buy your team? Is that what you're saying? You
saw our new signing.
Yeah,
saw our new signing with Gary Barrett at Heritage. He's signed on the dotted line. He's playing.
I was there for the contract. Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, witnesses and everything.
Yeah. It'd be good. And so next year, obviously, I know Daryl and Carrie and the rest of the 5-pin crew is working hard on next year's information. It should be out here relatively shortly, right?
Yeah, so we might drop Greg this year, make us a little stronger. So we'll see what we come back with next year. That's just a thorn in his side always. I told him, don't worry about it, man. Who gives a shit? And he's like, I do.
Just drop him for John.
John Wilcott or
Degrassi.
Mullins? John always.
I'll fly out every weekend. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sponsored by WestJet now, so that's great.
Yeah. If we dropped him for his dad, again, maybe his dad. I don't know. I don't think you guys realize how close I've been to stabbing how many times from still alive though. Still
no, it's like a love-hate relationship in the best way, right?
Yeah.
And I remember you had maybe had a little bit too much to beer at TPC, and he told you off.
Oh, that's like a bi-weekly basis, man. That's not a new thing.
I feel like if he stabbed you though, with him being a nurse, he'd like bring you back to life, and then stab you again, and then bring you back to life.
Death by 1,000 cuts.
Yeah. Just keeping you just edging your life a little.
I'm sure I deserve it. Like it's not even a question. If he did, I'd be like, yeah, my bad. Sorry.
So that being said, Taylor, are you looking to find a manager this year?
Manager and coach and somebody to deal with the electronics is my hope. Because like a lot of the times, I know Mitch Davies just grinded my ass. Like, you should be in every game, every frame. I'm like, but people got to set shit up, bro. Like, I don't have anybody else to do that. Kerry messaged me and says, hey, something's not working. I'm like, all right. And then I'm like, this is our new lineup. You guys are in. I got to go figure the shit out. So the hope is to have that done, or I might build a full streaming kit and just have it prepped and ready to go, and just off we go. Plug it in.
Yeah.
You're ready
In all
to go.
honesty, it's not super hard to set up in
Yeah.
any sort of way. So you should be able to find someone that's good at cell phones, and that'll be good.
Yeah. So it's probably get a coach for sure. I know Brian Bonney now, he sold Superior here in town last year. So he's had a full year to retire, and he kind of gave us I'm not doing anything heavily bowling related for the 1 year. He's giving himself a year.
That's fair.
And I was like, all right, I got some questions for you next year then. So I think we'll get him in there.
It'd be good to have BDDB be a coach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, 5-pin Bruniverse there, right?
Someone
Excellent.
has to.
So Johnny, maybe that's something we can discuss. Obviously, Infinite Escape has had a little bit of a rough road this year.
Let's be honest, they were abysmal.
Hot garbage.
So have you?
Hey, welcome to the club, buddy.
Has there been any discussion about picking you up, or are you joining a team, or?
Yeah, I think I'll be there next year. I think I'll be on the team. Yeah. There hasn't been any official notice or anything, but we kind of discussed it in Red Deer a little bit.
Okay.
So how many beers deep were you guys when you discussed this?
That's a number that I don't think anyone could give you.
No, have to check the tab. That's not great. I don't know that whole weekend. Well, after Saturday, that was a write-off for me, so I couldn't tell you how many deep it was. But that's fair. 75.
Are you excited?
Pumped, yeah. I can't wait. I think I might do some commentating next year too. I think
awesome.
Talking to DB about that, so I think it'll be good. Just need some cheat sheets on people. That's why I like to go to a lot of these tours. You talk to people you don't really know, get to know them better, and then maybe it'll come in handy for a time like this, right?
People get to know you really quick, John.
Well, maybe I talk too much.
No such thing, John. Don't let them cramp your style.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So we did give out cheat sheets at the beginning. We did a kind of a Google Doc for it, and I don't think once it was actually brought up. So as long as we use the proper information. Yeah.
So that's where Daryl came up. Like I really agreed with his idea of having each team designate a person, like bring somebody in to do commentary. So each team has one person for commentary. We might have one or two 5-pin you guys or guests come on and commentate with it. But if you have somebody from each area able to commentate, they at least know those players well and know their styles and what makes them tick, and maybe some fun little stories in between too, right? So
yeah, you get that intimate knowledge and you know what they threw at league last night, or you know what they did throughout the week, and anything you can give little tidbits, because you can only talk about the same guy so many times before you run out of material, right?
Yeah, especially when you're going so deep in the rosters on some of these teams. Like there's people that I've never seen or ever heard of before. How are you to speak to somebody like that when you have absolutely no information on them?
You're right. I didn't know Greg DeGrazia until I saw him get pulled. Right. So
he showed up
now you know him now, but not for the right reasons. But fun to rag on him when he pulls bad, because he only pulls bad like twice a decade. So get him.
You're exactly. It's the same with Mitch. Like I said, those are people that you just don't anticipate missing cuts because they just don't do it. They're so good, they just don't do it. Right.
Well, that's why the shirt had to be handed to Mitch then in Red Deer.
Yeah.
He was a good sport about it. He knew what was happening.
And honestly, the reason why it happens to Mitch is because people respect him so much because of how good he is. That, okay, he missed a cut, we have to do it now because it's probably never going to happen again.
Yeah.
You know? So, yeah. Poor guy.
So I guess maybe the last topic we can have a little talk about is Open Nationals. It starts. Everybody starts leaving this weekend for Open Nationals down the Rock in Newfoundland. I know I'm really excited for the 12:05 a.m. Monday morning flight.
I love those flights.
I will be a miserable SOB, but we'll probably end up on George Street a little bit later.
You can just sleep the whole time.
I can't sleep on planes. But that being said,
someone's going to get them.
Please
join the Mile High Club.
Against his will. Yeah.
So that being said, we're looking at some of the rosters here. Who are some of the teams you want to watch? Like, who are some of your guys' favorites? Who are you excited maybe to watch or to keep tabs of? I'm
not gonna lie.
Yeah,
I haven't looked at the rosters at all. I'm still bitter.
I get it.
I'm still bitter. Still dreading next week not being able to go. I haven't looked at shit.
I talked to Dex a few times in Red Deer. In my brain, you're going to nationals, and we had conversations about stuff. And when I got home, my wife's like, he's not going, and I was like, I had to sit and think about it. I'm like, did I blatantly say like, oh, I'll see it like in Newfoundlander? And did I? In my head, I didn't.
I think you did.
I hope you did.
Yeah, I think there was one point where I told you I wasn't going to, and then it still happened a few more times.
I probably thought you were joking. It wasn't malicious. It wasn't malicious anyway. In my brain, you were. So
Dasha, you want to tell him the Lynn Howell comment or the conversation you had with him?
Oh, that was
before provincials.
That was before provincial. So it was like a week and a half before the Open started. And what were we doing? Was that
he was just coming into bullshit at the lanes.
Yeah, something was going on, and Lynn walks up to me and he goes, "Hey, so we're gonna have a practice Sunday. We're probably gonna go. Practice is at 2. Probably gonna go for lunch at 1. I'm like, oh, that's really cool. He's like, yeah, it's gonna be at BP's. I'm like, yeah, that's really cool. I'm like, what's the practice for? It's like, for our team. I was like, I'm not on that, Lynn. and then he just stared at me.
Because people don't have awesome. That ready.
Was it an honest mistake, or was he just being a dick?
Oh, no, it was a completely honest mistake, and I ragged on him so hard. I was like, yeah, we'll see you at practice, coach. Just the entire time. Pretty sure he told me to screw off like 7 times that week, and it was worth it.
Lenny brings up a great point that the mixed teams are absolutely stacked. I haven't seen so many great teams. Obviously, Alberta with, Bev's been there, Dina, Pam Wilson, Rob Wolfson, Mike Herbert, former Ontario. You look at BC, they pick up Bobby Herman on the team, right? Manitoba has their all-star team from there, right? So you have Colton Uzwa, whatever. Tyson Nelson, Brad Rusnak, Sandy Henderson, Michelle Brown, Jennifer Deviney.
Yeah. Doing an all-star format to qualify and only having a mixed team makes that Manitoba team. I mean, they would have been good regardless.
Yeah.
But not having a men's and ladies team and just creating a mixed team of all-stars.
Yeah.
That's going to be unbelievable.
You look at Newfoundland, Melissa Manor, Mike Upshaw, Julie Hughes, Brandon Tibbs, Andrew Murphy, gold medalist last time out there. Taylor, your wife's playing, right? So
she's on the mixed team all the time. Unfortunately, this is one of our stronger mixed teams that we've had in quite a few years. However, just maybe not a good year to be putting it out there. Just right into the fucking meat grinder. Yeah. But like the bowlers they have are still gonna go out there. They're still gonna be able to compete. Like
John Wilcock, right? Or what's John's name?
Octocock.
There we go. I was waiting for that.
And
Adam Goose. I mean, those guys can play. There's no doubt about it.
And what about the Regina team, Tim?
Well, I'm looking. Yeah. I was kind of going in order. Regina's great. Donnie Salmon, Nelson, Danny Bear, Sarah Ouellette, Simone, right? I mean,
isn't Sarah getting ready to duty out a kid like now?
No.
I think it is
2 more, right? So I mean, Danny
is just August, all right. So
that's perfect for Danny because Danny could make up for all her drinking then, right? So obviously, like Quebec has Maxime, Sorry, not Maxine. Yet. Look at the girls: Maude, right? Chantel and Helene.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Holy
Absolutely
cow.
disgusting, right? You know, PI has good players. Mitch Davies, Martin Talbot, Francois Talbot, Cassie is on Ontario. That's another great team, right? It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be a really great event, and I can't tell you which team is gonna be the one coming out, or even what top four.
Yeah, I think this year it's literally going to be the team that gets lucky against like a good team that throws shit. It's going to be that team that just slots into the right spot and hits that hot team after they just ripped a 1,500 on somebody, and then they come out and throw up 10-50 or 11 something the next game, and you just squeak by them with a 12. Like I think there's going to be there might be one that just gets the draft off of everybody else's demoralizing defeats and might squeak up there, but it's just going to be just a murder show across the board.
And like I said, I haven't had a really chance to check some of the ladies teams out there. I know obviously we had to check our men's team out. Newfoundland, I mean, Brad Glynn, Ray, Mike Howlett, Brandon Smith, Mike Mahoney, and Shane Chafe. Those guys in their home province, home centers, I think they're a team to beat. Obviously, Taylor, your team is pretty high up there as well. I know last time
19th time's the charm. We'll figure it out.
You guys are Ontario's a great team. Quebec's a great team. I mean, you have Maxime Sylvain finally made the men's team. Matt Leonard's there. So I can make men's teams out there for some reason. Yeah. And then Saskatchewan, Mike West and all that, right? It's so many great teams are going to be out there. And on the island, right? So it's going to be cool. It's going to be really cool to have.
Yeah, my only thing with the Opens is the difference in qualifying. Like Manitoba, obviously, first year back, they didn't know numbers, what they have, what they're going to run through. But then formatting it the way it does, like to me, that's just like all of the other mixed teams. Sure, this year it happens that there are quite a few mixed teams that are, a couple steps above what they usually are. But you have somebody that'd be like if Thunder Bay, for example. Well, we're just going to pick our top 3 guys and top 3 girls, and we're going on that mixed team.
Do you think there would ever be a format change? Like the mixed teams would always be the top 3 guys, top 3 girls, and then the next 6 would always be.
So it's a good discussion because I know John, and I don't know John, but I know Regina 5 has talked about that. That's how they want to change their format. It's the top 3 men and top 3 ladies who make mixed, and the other 6 would be making the men's and ladies teams.
That has to be to me. That change has to be
across the
countrywide.
Yeah,
everyone has to do that because then
I think that gives a good way of you. I'm never going to be able to play with, say, Crystal Hibner, right? Ever. She's going to be ladies team all the time.
I agree.
I will never get an opportunity to play with her. So I think that'd be cool to get an opportunity to play with top end females because
for sure.
I don't think I'll ever have an opportunity to play with some of them.
Yeah.
I made a mixed team. I know Dexter enjoyed the mixed team he made.
I've been on mixed teams. Never made other teams.
I'm not gonna lie. I kind of my personal feeling has nothing to do with that. I enjoy men's teams more, right? And if I want to play with those ladies, I will try to find a way to somehow to play an event with them. Whether it's sorry, you guys' faces there.
I was like,
Yeah, like I would play trios or play something, but I do respect that opinion. Back in the day, I think the Western Canadians, they can quote me on this if I'm wrong, or early C5, the first couple of years, you would make the team, and then the managers would decide what team would play, or what player would play on which team. So you could be the 9th qualifier,
and you qualify and get slotted.
You get slotted on which team you're on.
Yeah.
Right. So
that's all up to the manager.
It was up to the manager and the coaches back then. So they would want to, like stack a mixed team that year. So this mixed team, we want to go to nationals, right? So they would try to push that one forward, and maybe the men's team might not be as strong, right? Depending on the zone, right? So that was an option back in the day. Yeah.
Yeah. that having John explain it the way he just did, I've never thought of it that way because I'm relatively the same thing. There's a few ladies out of my zone that you're correct. I will probably never bowl with unless we both just shit our pants in the same season and, you know, make a mixed team together. But realistically, both of us doing that, like yourself, both of you guys doing that are probably limited. My big thing is just whatever we do have, I feel should be universal across all zones.
Yes.
We're all going to the same bowling alley to compete in the same format. So everyone should qualify the same way to get there. Because I know right now we don't have that. I think Quebec does something slightly different. And then like there's other places that have talked about. I know Manitoba is the big one. Like, what the hell are you guys doing? But they're just coming. They're coming back in. So I 100% get. I know OC was like he wasn't angry with it. He was just kind of a little bit put off because he's like, shit. Like had they have done men's and ladies, he would have been on their mixed team. And he's like, and that mixed team they would have had still would have been right up in the running with the ones that are running this year. So like it's just gets rough.
Yeah, I think it's I think I can quickly go over BC, Saskatchewan, Northern Ontario, Saskatchewan. Yeah, those ones basically qualify the same. You go qualify your zone round, then you make your team goes and whatever. 1 through 9, 6. Yeah, correct. Manitoba, because the Winnipeg thing was going on there for the longest time. They actually just ran a Westman zone and a Central zone. So you could only qualify with that and then did a singles and a team portion like you normally would. You're only playing against one other team the whole time. And then they did an all-star team based off it. So this is the first year they came back with singles because they had to find a way to include Winnipeg to see how it'll work out, right?
Yeah. So I'm assuming next year, based on their numbers this year, they're going to flesh it out to our style.
I'm really hoping they try something that way, right? Quebec, you make your own team up out of your center, I believe, or however you want to make up your team, and then you guys go play a provincial round similar like ours, but theirs is, I believe, a mixed team format. So everybody plays a mixed team format. You have a couple ladies, and then how it's based off of for nationals is an all-star.
Okay. Yeah. So you're still
team out of the house. Do you pick your own players out of the house, or you have a qualifying round out of your house?
No, I believe you pick your own players.
Oh, that would be super cool too.
Right? So that's how they do their but it's an all-star.
Yeah, and that gives you the ability again to bowl with those ladies. However, it's still an all-star basis, so you're still taking the top people out of your provincial are going, regardless.
Correct. Right.
Regardless of what team they put in. Yeah.
And in Newfoundland, don't quote me on Newfoundland entirely, but I know they have a different houses they play out of, and they call them Metro 1, Metro 2, or whatever. Yeah. But you qualify out your house, right, which is your zone, and then you guys play the provincials. But you can have multiple teams. Like you've seen how many mixed teams they have, and they only have 2 ladies teams.
Yeah.
Right.
And singles can buy their way in as well.
Singles can buy their way in, and the only issue is with mixed team, you can buy your way in out there. I don't know if it worked out okay this year, but at nationals, because men's and ladies sometimes have duplicate singles, right? You can't have your mixed team depending on how many lanes you have. So if a mixed person won, I don't know how that would have worked, right?
I feel like they would have had to forfeit
something, right?
Or the single.
And then for the Maritimes, PEI and
that's Mitch's idea. Southern Ontario was that style.
Yeah, and PEI and Northwest Territories, they do a 2-day qualifier, 8 games, and then they take the top people based off of that, and the step ladder for singles. Yeah. And then for Nova Scotia, what they do is you build your own team kind of thing too, and it's a little bit of a cash event, and they take their all-star based on. But if you want to play singles, you can pay an extra additional fee for singles, and then you can top 5 of who paid in based off of that will do the single.
So am I the only one that sees the discrepancy between those different formatting?
No, for sure. I do disagree. Yeah. I do agree. I think you can't do much with Northwest Territories or the Maritimes only because
numbers wise, I 100% get that style because you only have 3 guys there, 2 guys, a couple of girls over here. Like you need to smush them together and make a team.
Yeah,
but the rest of the zone,
Manitoba, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The ones that are doing all-stars from teams, like it's interesting to me, like
because realistically, think about it. You could have your guys' team, but say you chop the 2 lowest guys and you pick the next 2 highest guys that are around. That team gets multiplicative better.
You're right.
But does it? Like, okay, so so we're fortunate here in Edmonton. We have a ton of great players here in Edmonton. So no matter who you put on a team, for the men's team and the ladies teams and the mixed teams, they're gonna be solid teams, right? But the benefit that we have is that because we're qualifying from Edmonton, we're always playing together. We have the team. We get along. We have the chemistry. Absolutely. Whereas if you're in a different province where you have different teams from different parts of the province, and then you make an all-star team, that's more like a Masters team.
4 years that goes away. 4 years, the same people statistically are going to make those same teams, and you will build that camaraderie with those people regardless. Sure, you already have the fundamentals done, which I 100% agree with you is a cornerstone of a good team. However, if everyone else did it that way, you would gain that camaraderie with those people over time, just like you did with the people that you bowl with now. So it just seems weird to me that the rest of the country is like, yeah, you can qualify like that, whatever. And we're all sending teams, and then we bowl the same format on the same lanes. Like it's not like those teams are just bowling each other. Like we're all bowling them. And I've thought about it for a while. I'm like, well, who did this? Like, why is it like this? And like, I get numbers wise, to me, that's my brain went there. Oh, they don't have enough. They need to, amalgamate everybody and make a team. I get that. That part makes sense. But we got places that got shit tons of people. And like, yeah, we're just sending our top 9. Not our top team, our top 9. And I'm like, how is that fair to?
Winnipeg has the most bowling alleys per capita in the country.
Yeah. Winnipeg does?
Yeah. Really?
Always has.
Wouldn't have thought that. And there's a dead body behind everyone.
Winnipeg did. Yeah. There's no doubt about that.
I would not. I would have thought Edmonton, like maybe in the Red Deer area.
No,
I know Anthony's like, oh, I was bowling out here. There's a bowling out there. I'm like, what? We have 2.
No, but theirs is so spread out and central, right?
Geographically.
Winnipeg does, and I like I said, the Winnipeg's the big glaring one, right? So, if Winnipeg gets back in, all of a sudden it works out better for everybody, right? So
well, there's being the first year to me, I was like, yeah, I get that. They had to put numbers in, they had to plan shit ahead of time, and they had no idea what they were going to get. So that one makes sense to me for the first year. But we have zones that have been doing that for ever.
Yeah. On a personal level, like I can't, right? Obviously, I speak for like if an all-star team gets made, I think I mean, you guys probably attest with T-Bay being there too. You guys are good enough where I think it doesn't matter what all-star team comes out of some places. I still think they're not necessarily still the best players. It was just the best players that weekend.
Yeah.
Right. And I still think we are able to do that. Right. So I'm okay with it for the most part. Right. Because I have confidence in our teams. Right. So.
Yeah, it's just the fundamental. We're all bowling the same thing, but getting there different ways. To me, seems odd.
For sure, it's no different in Alberta and for teaching senior masters, right?
Well, don't even get me started on fucking masters.
But
here's the thing, though. You're talking about these formats, and you're talking about masters on the open, like. What's going to happen? Like, they're competing against each other, whatever. If you change the format, so you're doing an all-star system in the open, then you basically have the same thing as Masters.
Yeah.
It's basically the same thing at this point.
There's something, and like everybody has each reason why they like Masters or during the open. I was talking to John beforehand. Obviously, we have great conversations beforehand, and we don't necessarily bring him on. I think a lot of it it's great experiences. If you have a good experience with your association, you end up being like, I actually like this one, or I had a bad experience with a certain situation in association. You tend to have a sour taste in your mouth, right? Obviously, I like the 5-pin, and I love the Masters on Alberta. There's no doubt about it. I love competing on the provincial levels and whatnot, but there's nothing better for me that I love is making a team with the guys at Edmonton, right? I just love, and that's where I enjoy the mixed team, right? I really did. Maybe I don't want to give it another shot because I want to make another men's team, right? But I really enjoy
the mixed team gets a bad stigma, I feel.
Yes,
Because everybody wants to be the best they can be. Sometimes some people's best aren't men's team quality, and that's the name of the game. So you make the mixed team, and then you go smash assholes on the mixed team. So that's what you got to do.
Yeah, I really enjoy playing with our local people, because if you look at my track record now, with the Dream Crushers, I played with some local players, a lot of people from Central or a lot of people outside. We go to cash tournaments. I'm playing with Taylor during the trios. We play a lot of other things, and there's a lot of pride in me in our local level where I really enjoy playing with that. Right, so
yeah, the Masters out of Northern Ontario, I believe 2 or 3 of the tournaments that count toward my average are bowled with children, and it's. I honestly think I could probably bowl Masters 1 year and I might not be allowed back the next year, because like I have a certain level of tenacity when I bowl that I don't know that I can.
Is it weird to you that you
Shelter
have
that.
one of those now?
Oh, she'd be absolutely ruthless, 100%. Autistically honest is my goal. So we'll see how we get there. But yeah, that to me, that's nuts. Even my wife's like, you could bowl on a mixed team with her one day. And my mind was just like, because I'm not thinking that far ahead. I'm just trying to make sure she lives till she's won. Like, I'm not thinking like 18 years down the road, right? So it's just the 2 tournaments with kids. Thanks, Sammy James. So it's the fact that, and like, I don't really have a problem, but the way I bowl and the mindset I put myself in to achieve to the level that I wish to be at, I don't know that I could filter that from the 7-year-old kid right beside me that I'm bowling with. Like that could either make that kid's day or life or send him to therapy for the rest of his life. Like I don't want that. I don't want that kind of evil on me, right? So like I would bowl it. It's just for the sake of the children, I will not.
Do you know, I think there is merit to it, to some extent, because Masters is your grassroots helping out, coaching and whatnot. I don't know if that is the right spot for it, right? I know in Alberta we have a tournament, a couple YBC tournaments with Masters, and I think that's absolutely fantastic, but it doesn't affect our nationals.
Yeah,
well,
it's specifically for it. It's specifically to mentor the kids, and with other kids, and that's it. It's a 1-day tournament, like it's.
But that's
it's
the teaching and the tournament side, right? Like but we have teaching and tournament. So to me, the teaching side would be, like you guys are saying, the mentorship to build the sport up. The tournament side's the the more competitive side. So I would think to divide those 2 up in terms of your averages that go towards.
It's exactly what Greg is saying here. So with us, none of those tournaments affect anything to do with nationals. It's just strictly there to be with the kids. The teaching division and the tournament division have their own separate tournaments without the kids, and those are the ones that qualify. Yeah.
Lenny's poking fun at me. I don't know where it'll end, Len. I don't know. It'll end with me in jail. That's probably where it'll end. That's my guess. But I know we've had some people trying to move to make some motions to try to change our formatting and things like that. And as you all know, being a part of all sorts of different executives, shit takes time. It doesn't. You can't just turn the wheel and off you go. As some of the older generations who are sort of stuck in their ways, start to filter out, some younger people get in, we get some new ideas and stuff starts to move along. Yep. But maybe we'll get there. Our Masters team, our men's team this year for Masters is probably one of the best ones we've had since I've known really what Masters was. So
you have Pete Blanchard, you have Jeff Watts, friend of our show, right? Jeffy?
Yeah, Watts is on there. Phil Mayo, who's on our men's team, is on there. So like we got some.
Dave Secord finally wins his
singles. Apparently, first time in 40 years, which is like good for you, Dave. Way to go! Awesome. I don't know if you're watching. 40 years. That's awesome. That's a trek.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. So it's all good though. So we have a couple more minutes left in the show.
Did we touch on our agenda here? Let me look.
Yeah, actually, I think we hit all our points. Daryl will be very proud of us.
Well, Carrie, not so much. He's going to go back and listen to it and be like, oh, Taylor. Oh, Taylor, not again. Oh no. Oh,
I
Taylor.
feel like I do it in a tasteful way that the people like. Yeah.
So moving. So I guess I will maybe for Dexter and for John, because me and Taylor are going to Newfoundland. Maybe on the last notes.
Oh, just
Thanks.
Who is no. Who is
Great show, guys.
who's the people you guys are looking forward to watch? And what are some interesting matches or things that you're looking forward to?
I'm definitely looking forward to watching our Regina mixed team. The 3 men on there, I think it was something like 2 of the games they threw 1,000, and they had 6 other games over 900 at provincials, like just for the 3 men alone. Like they were lights out. It was absolutely incredible to watch. And wow, I was supposed to be bowling, but I was on the bench half the time. But I was watching them a whole bunch. So I think that'd be great. And that Edmonton team looks great as well.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat too. I'm definitely looking forward to watching our little COVID Cup group playoff in for the Saskatchewan mixed team there, and obviously Tim, your men's team. I probably won't watch a minute of it at all, but I will look at stats and heckle you if you're not playing well. That's kind of how it's going to go.
just text me. I'll walk right over to him. I'll tell him right to his face.
Perfect.
No,
Dex says you're shit.
I'm going to take you up on that. You know that, right?
I'm going to do it 100%.
I think there's gonna be a lot of great bowling and a lot of great teams out there, right? So, yeah, I'm interested on the I'm really excited about the Newfoundland hospitality and looking forward to that. Last time I was in Newfoundland, that Saturday finals was probably the loudest I've ever seen a bowling center, right? So really excited to be hopefully part of the Saturday finals in some sort of aspect, right? So. Yeah, maybe me and Taylor might play against each other, right? Maybe that could be something.
I'm down. I'm down to crush you in the dust.
Sorry?
See if they can make a faster pull this time.
Oh, I don't know about that one. That's
one ball instead of 2.
One ball. I don't like the way it's no spin, get out, you're done.
Is that something you guys have ever done? Is just request to play against somebody?
No.
Oh, our team does that lots. Whether or not Bobby T lets us do it, but like if I got Timmy's number and I say Bobby T, I want to bowl against Tim, and their lineup's up first, I'm pretty sure if I said that to him, he would put me against him. I don't often request that. Bobby T asked me, "Hey, where do you want to bowl?" I said, "I'll sit on the bench, Bobby T. I'm just happy to be here. I'll do whatever I can for the team." And he goes, "Well, that's no help, thanks." And then off he goes.
Kind of like a mini grudge match then.
Yeah,
I've never asked to play against anybody. I think with our teams, we just focus on rhythm and flow, right? So
yeah, like a good Zohan haircut for sure.
Yeah,
silky smooth.
Yeah, that's how we kind of build our lineups, right? And Adam's really slow, so it's not because of his skill. He's just at the bottom. So
yeah, nobody wants to stand there and watch him bowl. They're gonna make the guy on the other team bowling first do it, and there it goes again.
Yeah, that's how it works. There's no rhyme or reason to anybody we're playing against. So
yeah. Does anybody else do that match callouts? And like just across the board, that's just a
think
general.
Your coach might let you do it once, and if you lose, you're probably never going to be able.
Well, you lose all credibility. I would imagine after that.
And I love tough. Like Tim's right though. I mean, like in Edmonton for sure, we definitely like focus on just getting a rhythm with the team, right? And if you request that. And you've been running with the same lineup for 4 games, and you've been running hot, and then you request that, and then you're just gonna screw up the entire lineup. Yeah, it doesn't happen a lot for here anyway.
So I will tell you a story about one of our Edmonton teams when we won provincials one year. We were up in GP and it was super tough, and we talking about picking people, right? Who you want to play against. How we picked our lineup is we threw a pencil up in the air, and if the lead pointed at you, that's the way the lineup would fall. And it made me anchor. And I was like, I haven't played anchor since I was in juniors. And Michael Cusi said, tough luck, you're playing. and that's the lineup. I think we had Adam in 3, and we ended up running the table. don't ask me a question about it.
From a pencil flip, you ran the table.
It's like the year we were in at Masters in Regina at Glencairn and Golden Mile. We started out at Golden Mile, and that's when Golden Mile had their breakdown at the start of it. And then we waited like 2 hours, and then all of a sudden we were good to go. Scores came up, and Casey looked at the lineup, and it was like put an alphabetical order on our team. He's like,
I like it.
"Yep, we'll go with that." And we ran with that the entire weekend, except for one small change, like 3 quarters away. So I think he flopped like 2 and 3.
Brad.
No, you got to stay the course. You got to stay the course.
We won, so it worked. But
it was an internal loss because you didn't stay the course.
It was hilarious. Yeah, we'll go with that. And it worked. It's funny.
Sometimes.
He's got to roll with it. Keeps it light, and then away you go. Loose and away you go.
Absolutely.
Yeah, lucky to be good, but good to be lucky.
100%.
For sure.
Well, guys, I think that's about all the time we've got. Thanks everyone for tuning in. It was an adventure. We made it.
They let me come back again.
It worked out
again.
It worked
out. It worked out.
I mean, told you those other guys, right?
I told you every time it will. Carrie doesn't like it, but I'll bring
he's
the people
in the background
here.
somewhere. You know, he's
no,
in the background.
we miss her daddy still. We still miss her daddy.
Yeah, he'll be back one day soon. Yeah, but thanks everybody. I want to thank All Star Bowling Sales for all the support that they do in sponsoring the podcast every week. Thank you to all of our Patreon members. That's this wonderful list of people. Thank you guys so much. We can't do this without you guys. Again, thank you to All Star Bowling Sales. We'll run the commercial here right away, and then we'll sign off. So thanks for tuning in, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
See you guys. Have a good one.